Good morning. This is Jean Belmonte with Pengood, and welcome to the 2019 Charity Outreach Briefing. Today's briefing will last about 45 minutes, and if you have just joined us, I ask that you please attend all your lines, put them on mute, and this will ensure a terrific audio experience. And we also encourage you to ask questions by typing them in the question function as well, and we'll answer them at the end of the presentation. And finally, for your convenience, there is a PDF of this presentation in the handouts. So feel free to download it at any time and refer to it in the future. It's a wonderful document, a terrific information that we are going to review today. So as we move ahead, first of all, thank you for coming today and choosing to participate in the combined federal campaign. Your work empowers and inspires the generosity of the federal community, and we're thrilled to be able to partner with you this year. Your involvement in our local campaign activities is critical to the CFC's success. We need your help to tell your story and to motivate federal employees to make a pledge. As we move on to slide number 3, here's what we plan to cover today. We will start by talking a little bit about the CFC, what it is, how it works, and what's the advantages that are in your court. Next, I will show you some of the 2019 plans, including our campaign theme. Then I will talk about an important way for you to get the most out of the CFC, participating in campaign events. And finally, we will go over some other ways you can encourage federal donors to choose your organization through the CFC. So moving on to the next slide, how the CFC works for charities. The CFC is a federal tradition that facilitates charitable giving within all federal workplaces. The CFC has been around for 58 years and has generated more than $8.3 billion in pledges. The CFC groups charities into 3 categories: local, national, and international. The CFC itself is divided into 36 regional zones. Here's how the CFC works from a charity perspective. You apply to participate in the campaign. Your application is reviewed and vetted by federal employees. Once approved, you are in the charity list for that campaign year. During the campaign, you will be invited to participate in campaign events and other activities in your local zone. This is your opportunity to meet face-to-face with the generous federal community and tell your story. During today's presentation, I'll also be providing you with other ways to engage the federal community. Moving on to the next slide, how the CFC works for campaign workers. Well, we train and motivate campaign workers to invite their colleagues to make a pledge. And how the CFC works for donors, the next slide. Well, finally, members of our federal community choose their causes and charities and make their pledge through either the online pledge portal or via a paper pledge form. Pledges are processed by the Central Campaign Administrator, the CCA, and then are distributed back to you through the year so that you can do your life-changing work. It's just a terrific program. Moving on to slide number 7. Now that we have reviewed how the CFC works, let's talk about what's in it for you. The CFC offers participating charities some serious advantages. First, you will be able to get your charity in front of millions of potential federal donors with one annual application. That means that even if you are a local charity in our zones, donors from other zones will be able to pledge to you via the online charity search. And federal retirees anywhere in the world can pledge to your charity via an allotment from their retirement annuity. The CFC provides a steady source of unrestricted funds coming to you throughout the year. Your distributions start in April, following the campaign, and continue through the following March, and everything is consolidated through the Central Campaign Administrator system. You can access that system and see reports on donation amounts and distributions once they start. Federal employees are also authorized to pledge volunteer hours in addition to dollars to charities that have indicated that they will accept volunteer hours. Volunteers are generally high value donors, so capitalizing on this generosity is important. Now as we move on to our next slide, the 2019 campaign theme involves the popular Show Some Love from previous years through the addition of several new colors. You'll see turquoise, yellow, and magenta, and also a fun illustrated approach to highlight federal employees' causes. Moving on to slide number 9, here is a sample of some additional materials so you can see how we are carrying the theme throughout. You can see all of the materials on Zone's local websites, which we'll list towards the end of this presentation. Now I move on to the next slide, which is a terrific list. It is an important part of this campaign. It's our plan to highlight Cause of the Week. This is the Cause of the Week schedule. Note where your organization falls on this schedule so you can be ready to help promote via social media, newsletters, communications, and events. This calendar and more information on Cause Week can be found in the Zone's websites as they are uploaded. So I encourage you to take the PDF, download this particular schedule, and keep it posted and by your side. Now we move on to a couple of key dates. This particular slide on 11 has September 9th, which is the opening of the online pledge portal, and that is operated by the CCA. December 3rd is Giving Tuesday, and December 5th is International Volunteer Day. And finally, the last day to pledge is January 12th. Moving on to the next slide. Now that you have an overview of how the campaign works and some of our specific plans for 2019, let's talk about how you can get involved. On slide number 13, participating in campaign events is so important. As I mentioned, one of the best opportunities you have to meet with the generous federal community face-to-face and tell the story of the important work that you do is by participating in campaign events. We strongly encourage you to get involved in the campaign and to make every effort to attend campaign events when invited. There's nothing worse than for a campaign worker to organize a charity fair that still has empty tables or booths. In addition, to get face-to-face with federal employees, here are some other great reasons to attend the events. You have the chance to show some love to the federal community. That could mean saying thank you to them for the support they have given you over the years. But it could also mean ways of showing them how you can support the needs and how they support your needs. You're also showing some love to the hard work federal employees serving as campaign workers who are taking their time to plan and execute events and ask their co-workers to pledge through the CFC. You can help make campaign events fun and successful by bringing interesting activities, promotion items, giveaways, and information. Campaign events boost morale in the workplace, and by participating, you'll be contributing to that. And finally, campaign events increase participation in the campaign and thereby support donations for you, the participating charities. Remember, a rising tide raises all the ships, so everything you can do to promote and encourage participation in the campaign will help everyone. Moving on to our next slide. Tips. There are a few other tips as well. Number 1, be memorable. Be engaging with your display area. The more creative you are, the better. Consider incorporating an activity, a game, or props. But remember to double check with the event coordinator to ensure that whatever you are planning is allowed in that particular agency. Photographs may be restricted as well as other elements. So be sure that you coordinate with your event coordinator. Some things may be construed as gaming or gambling. That would be prohibited. Tip number 2, tell your story. By compelling but briefly, prepare a 30 to 60-second elevator speech about your organization and its impact. Be sure to promote participation in the CFC, and not just promote your own organization, especially if you're invited to speak at the event. Tip number 3, bring giveaways. Who doesn't love free stuff? Also, allowing federal employees to take something back to their desk will keep your organization top of mind when they prepare to make their pledge. Make sure your giveaway has your 5-digit CFC code on it. Tip number 4, be engaging. Be outgoing and friendly. Don't wait for employees to come to talk to you. Welcome them and invite them over to your table. People may walk through the event to have a break from their work, but don't let them return to their desk without having learned about your organization. As we move on to the next slide, tell your story. Be compelling but brief, as we mentioned. Definitely keep it concise and make sure that you are promoting participation in the CFC, not just promoting your own organization, as we mentioned, especially when you're invited to speak at the campaign. Page number 16, once again, bring those giveaways. Come bearing your gifts. It's a great way to keep in front of the employees throughout the day. And next slide. It's important to play by the rules. So participating in campaign events in federal workplaces does come with its own set of rules and restrictions. The complete list of rules for your review are on the zone's websites. Yet here are some highlights listed here. Attend only the events you are invited to attend. Don't show up unannounced, please. If you RSVP that you would attend an event, please show up. Third, follow the security guidelines provided by the agency hosting the event. Ensure that you have proper identification. Number 4, use only the display area allotted. Number 5, promote overall participation in the campaign, not just your own organization. Remember, the rising tide raises all ships. Number 6, do not sell anything, collect names, or accept donations at the event. 7, dress and act professionally and treat everyone with respect. And once again, please go to your local zone's websites for a complete list of rules. So as we move to slide number 18, now that I've made the case for why charity participation in events is so important and how you can make the best of your time there, let's talk about how you can apply to attend events in our local CFC zones. First, CFC participating charities must complete and sign the charity agreement form prior to attending a charity or awareness event. Links to the forms are available through the zone's website and through a link provided in this briefing's email invitation. Participating charities can either attend one of our scheduled briefings, be trained by their federation, or self-certify that they understand the rules of conduct for charity fair participation. And finally, the local outreach coordinator in the zones will send charities an email notification when and where an event will be held. The charity will coordinate directly with the local outreach coordinator for participation. First come, first served until every charity has been provided an opportunity or spots need to be filled for the event. Moving on in our program, as we discussed, participating in campaign events is crucial, but here are some other ways to engage the federal audience. We are on slide number 20. Market and make the most of your CFC involvement. Print your 5-digit CFC code on materials you plan to hand out at the campaign events. You can even print and bring pledge forms to the event with your CFC number pre-filled in and hand them out to interested federal employees. Don't forget to promote your CFC involvement on your digital materials too, and put your CFC code on your website, newsletters, and email signatures. In addition, incorporate the Show Some Love theme where you can. For example, in newsletters, social media, and your website. You can download the 2019 graphical standards found under Campaign Workers, Resources, and Logos and Templates on the Zone's websites. This will give you more information. We also have Show Some Love circles available for download on the Zone websites as well. And in addition, you can target earned and paid media to the federal audience during the campaign season. Especially remember to talk about how you help the federal community in times of need. As we move to the next slide, number 21, plan or schedule communications such as emails, newsletters, and mailers during the CFC season. And be sure to include your CFC 5-digit code. Remind federal retirees of their ability to pledge via annuity. Encourage your current supporters and advocates to spread the word that your organization is involved in the CFC. And say thank you to previous donors through your social media, direct mail outlets, emails, and events, so that they remember you this year when making their designation. As we move on to the next slide, 22, if your organization indicated you accepted volunteer pledges during the CFC application process, then here are some ways to promote your opportunities. First, identify volunteer opportunities for federal employees so you can answer questions at events. This could even include virtual volunteering. That could be accepting administrative help from volunteers who aren't physically in your office. Then you could reach out to those pledged volunteer hours from the previous year. And you can get this information from the pledge system. Furthermore, you can produce materials and messaging about your volunteer programs. Also, consider hosting a volunteer activity or a volunteer day of service for campaign workers or members of a federal agency. We are on slide 23. There's a lot of federal guidelines and restrictions we have to follow on our social media pages, but you don't have to. We can't mention specific charities' names to avoid showing favoritism, but if you engage with us on our social media accounts by liking or commenting and sharing posts, your name will naturally appear on our page. In addition to interacting with our social media, don't forget to promote your CFC involvement on your own channels. Share content from our pages, post about events you attend, participate in Cause of the Week activities, and promote your own participation in the campaign. And be sure to use hashtag #ShowSomeLoveCFC. Finally, share your success stories, photos, and videos with the CFC National Marketing Team. You should have received an email invitation from them in early August with instructions on how to submit your stories and photos for social media and other communications, and videos for the virtual charity fair that will go on the Zone websites. Now moving on to the next slide on 24, these are the social media links, and they're also footers that are available on the Zone's website for ease of access. So today, at this moment, we are talking of 5 different zones. So you will see listed here South Central Texas, Facebook and Twitter, same for Southeast Tri-State, Peach Belt Zone, Greater Tennessee Valley, and Western Pennsylvania and West Virginia zones. I do encourage you to use the PDF and print out this page, and also use the links that are on our websites as well. And that brings us to our website addresses. So for Zone 19, it's southcentraltexascfc.org. That is the website address. For Southeast Tri-State, it's SE as in Southeast. Then spell out tristatecfc.org. For Peach Belt, it is peachbelt.org. Well, peachbeltcfc.org, pardon me. And then for Greater Tennessee Valley, it's greatertennesseevalleycfc.org. And for Western Pennsylvania and West Virginia, it's Western PA, West Virginia CFC.org. On these websites, there are many resources for you. So I encourage you to click through and download them as they become available. Now we are on slide 26. I also encourage you to check your emails regularly for information from the National Outreach Coordinator, Tribal Tech, regarding access to their brand folder. There are digital resources loaded on each zone's website regularly, as I just mentioned, and please check these websites periodically for new materials. Now, help desk. Now, this particular help desk information, and we are on slide 27, is what you may use when you're wanting to obtain charity lists, attend events and activities, obtain marketing products and such. And so the general CFC email is cfcsupport@pengood.com. Once again, it's cfcsupport@pengood.com. Now you may also, of course, use the zone's dedicated emails as well, and they will get to us. No worry about that. And we are here to support you as much as also is the Central Campaign Administrator. So it is on slide 28 that you will see the Central Campaign Administrator contact information. This is a resource that you will use quite often because this is where the pledges are made. This is where donors are setting up pledge accounts. This is where payroll deductions originate. The Central Campaign Administrator is a source that you'll be reaching out to quite possibly a bit during this campaign. They can be reached, of course, by the 800 number of 797-0098, or when you click through to their website, they will have an email portal as well, so you can connect with the Central Campaign Administrator that way as well. And I encourage you to keep them top of mind. They'll be a terrific resource for you throughout this season. Additional resources for you are the in-zone outreach coordinators. On slide number 29 is a list of our lead in-zone outreach coordinators. So in South Central Texas, there's Beth Dieter. In Southeast Tri-State, there's Tom Baird. In Peach Belt, there's Michael Shelton. In Greater Tennessee Valley, there's Eva Harris. And in Western Pennsylvania and West Virginia, there's Tim Williams. They are your initial point of contact as in-zone outreach coordinators and will be just terrific support for you. And they also directly support the campaign workers and key workers as well. So thank you again for your participation and have a great afternoon. Take care. Thank you.